and welcome to a new edition of Mascarandy Meanders. My name is Mike Appleton, and I'm a travel author who's based in St Helens. Well, it's fair to say it's been a while since I spoke to you all. I was just looking at my podcast schedule for the last 18 months or so and noticed that I last put something out around about this time last year. So firstly, massive apologies for that. For those of you who like hearing from me, you strange lot, I do appreciate your support. Incidentally, on that, I was looking at iTunes, my iTunes ratings yesterday. Yes, that's very vain of me, but I noticed I think it was 4 5-star ratings for this podcast. Well, I don't know what you're listening to, but I really appreciate your support. So I just wanted to drop you a short podcast today just to tell you what I've been up to in the last few months. Firstly, Secret Dales is now due to come out in November. It was due to be out round about August time, but the publishers that I work with, unfortunately, or fortunately for those guys, I guess, had to furlough some staff, and that meant that the actual editing and processing of my manuscript, which I got in on time, should be taking place now, actually. Hopefully I'll get some proofs in the next couple of weeks. And massive thanks to the guys at Amberley Publishing for doing that. Secondly, I've been working from home like most people since March time. As people will know, I work for Yorkshire Dales Millennium Trust in my day role, and we shut the office in Clapham, which is in the Yorkshire Dales, unsurprisingly, around about a week before Boris Johnson locked down the rest of the country. I found home working quite nice at first. Obviously, living in St Helens, that is a 100-mile round trip every day, and the thought of not having to do that trip was quite a pleasing one at first, but after a while, I think most people found that this normal that we're now in is quite tiresome, and also, the numbers of kind of Zoom meetings and things like that are quite difficult. And to be fair, I have blogged about this on mascarandymedia.com. The biggest thing that I found is that being 50 odd miles away from where I work has meant that I've had a real disconnect with what I do, and that is something that you cannot replicate with books, with videos, with online presentations, with Zooms. It's just not possible. So I have tried to get out and about in the local area, and if you've been following me on Instagram, again, that's at Mascarandy, you'll see various little trips and snippets of the things I've been up to. I think one of the things that I've spoken to a number of travel writers about this, a number of outdoors people, that this period has brought is a sense of reflection. And I don't mean the kind of inward meditation or anything like that. Or, I think when lockdown happened, everybody was supposed to, either have this burst of creativity or a chance to kind of, reflect on life and be at ease, and I did do a little bit of that, but then ended up looking really inwards and becoming quite inwards as a person as well, and that has forced me to look at my vision for the future, I guess, and also what I feel about Mascarandy Media and also the books that I write too. I was adamant that Secret Dales would be which is going to be my 10th book, would be my last book. And when I sent that manuscript off, that was it for me. I'd had enough. But give it probably a month. I was chomping at the bit, and already I am looking at 2 or 3 new projects, and hopefully a couple of nicer collaborations with people as well. Unfortunately, I think most writers find this, once the writing bug has got you, it is very difficult to shake it off, and to be fair, you don't want to shake it off. So firstly, I've got to really thank Philip Bell at Beachy Books for his wonderful podcast on where do you find your muse when you're feeling like shit. His words, not mine. I've paraphrased a little bit, but the swear word was definitely included in his podcast, and I found that quite interesting about how he lost his muse and then he found it, and how he's looking forward to the future. So thank you very much, Philip. I guess what I'm trying to say is that Mascarandy Media, or kind of my output of work, has kind of slowed up a little bit because of perhaps looking too inward at what I wanted to produce, if that makes sense. It's been quite a difficult time mentally being locked in, and even though I wasn't probably the most outgoing person ever in the world, it has been quite difficult to shake off that feeling of being probably locked in my head over the last couple of months. I am looking at trying to do different things to get out of that kind of rut. Well, it's not a rut. It's more kind of looking at where my place is in the publishing and outdoor world. So coming up on this podcast in the next few months, I'll be discussing things like that. I'll be looking at current state of outdoor writing. I'll hopefully have a few guests on to talk about what the outdoors means to them, and why a connection to nature is really important. So I've been rambling on here for around about 6 minutes now. So many thanks for listening and to this very, very short podcast. Just me checking in with you all, and I hope to hear from you soon. Again, as I say, many thanks to those people who have submitted ratings on iTunes. That really helps the podcast get a little bit more noticed. And one thing I would ask is, if you have bought or read any of my books, that you consider putting a review on Amazon. Yes, we would all like to shop in independent bookshops and retailers and things like that, but unfortunately Amazon corner the market, and I do find that a lot of people will go to Amazon to have a look at a review of something before going into those independent places. So if you could leave a review on Amazon of any of the stuff that you've read from me, that would be really appreciated. Until then, if you're new, please click and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that, and I hope to speak to you all soon.